This is Pop the Cork, and he's a really gorgeous 16 two-hand 4-year-old thoroughbred gelding by General A-Rod, who I just got about a week ago. And he's having his second post-track ride. And I'm so excited about this horse. The difference between his first ride, which was just the day before this, and the next day here, he's doing a quick 20-minute session where we just sort of started adding some ground poles and things, is it's like light and day. It's unbelievable how much they can grow from one ride to the next. It's just so fun to see. So on his first post-track ride, he was excellent. I had absolutely zero complaints. He was wanting to be soft. He's a really cute mover. He was a great brain. He did everything I asked him to do. He was just your very typical wiggly thoroughbred. He was out the shoulders, steering was, a little questionable at times, and he tried really hard, but he just wasn't really quite straight, especially going to the right was hard. And then today, he just comes out, and I could tell the second I got on him and we started walking around because he was just so easily in between the aids, staying in between the legs and the hands. And I was able to just walk around over all these poles and things, like sort of on a loose, relaxed contact. And he just stayed so straight and just doing all the turns, and it was excellent. I could tell right away from the walk that we were going to have a great ride because he just seemed so much straighter and more understanding of all the aids and everything I was asking him to do. So we walked over all the poles and things numerous times, both directions. I'm not going to leave all of that in the video because it's a little boring, and mostly starting these guys over poles and little fences, it is boring. It really shouldn't be exciting, and it's just boring repetition over and over again until they just feel like it's just old hat and it's nothing to be excited about, and we just want them to quietly and in a relaxed way go about doing their jobs. And he, of course, makes that very easy. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but this horse really makes that just so easy to achieve because he's very relaxed in his brain and just so willing to do anything that I'm going to ask him to do. And when I'm doing these first couple of jump rides, and especially when we're in the ring, I don't like to ride them super collected or super in a frame. They're not completely understanding of that yet anyway. And if I can have them using, I want them to poke out their nose when they're going over things, and I want them to figure out their own balance. And I want them to be soft. I want a light connection, but I don't want them to feel like they're being jammed into a frame. I want their noses out, their poles up. I want them looking where they're going. I want them on a loose, relaxed contact. That's really my favorite way to start them over stuff. When you go out into a field and it's just a bigger environment with less structure, of course, then that changes things. You have to put them more together and have them more on the aids. But in the ring, I really like to keep it as loose and relaxed as I can, while still obviously achieving everything that we're setting out to do in a balanced, straight manner. And he just made that very easy to do. And he's such a light horse that it's just easy to ride him on a looser rein, because even on a looser, longer rein, he's still soft and he's still seeking the contact. And actually, that reminds me that I changed a couple of things from the first ride to this ride. I changed him from a metal snaffle to the Hermspringer Duo D ring, and I really like him in this bit. I think that this is the bit for him at the moment. And what else? I took off the flash, and I am wearing some little tiny spurs. And all the changes I made, I think I liked. I will keep it that way for now. So what I love about what he just did is, turning to the right was challenging the day before. And then today he comes out and just right away he can trot over ground poles in the corner closest to the gate. And it's just no questions. He's just making the turn, steering very nicely, and just a huge improvement from one day to the next. Same thing here. To the left is easier, but no leaning at the gate, making a really nice balanced turn. I love it. Pretty nice balance changes of direction. You really couldn't ask for much more here. There's some nice steps there. And so, the main objective here is that I loved this. This was the one where he put the footwork together a little bit and he figured out that landing in a canter is a good way to do this. And I don't like to force them to figure that out. I don't want to rush him over something or, bop him with my spurs at the base of anything. I want him to organically figure this out. And sometimes they don't. They just want to trot over the poles, and that's fine. They don't, we'll move on to something a little bit bigger the next time that helps them to make the connection to land in the canter. But he actually just totally organically figured it out on his own. And this horse has a great canter. So it's a really nice feeling when he goes over something, makes a little jumping shape or a little jumping effort, which is just so cute, and lands in the canter. Some super cute steps here. And I love his expression here. His ears are up. There's no tension in the bridle. So cute. He's straight. He's not trying to duck left or right. It's not a fight to get him straight to the base. Good, and that was really good. Just what we want. Good boy. So he was being so good about the ground poles and flower boxes that I thought it wasn't too much of a stretch to add the coupe. And what I like about the coupe is that it's a little bit bigger, obviously, and so it does encourage the making a little bit more of a shape and wanting to land in the canter. Really cute steps there in the trot. His turning. He's so straight today. And that was very good landing on his left lead. Good boy. And then really cute here in the contact. This horse is really, he's a pleasure. He's a joy to ride. Good boy. Okay, and then I think this is our grand finale coming up. I actually took this last clip that he did on this ride on my cell phone, but he did it so perfectly that I decided I had to put it in the video because it was just the icing on the cake for how good he was for this ride. So he lands in this perfect little left lead canter, and so I'm not forcing him to keep cantering. He just organically canters down the line, and he was done with that. Such a good boy.